So the Okoromo committee was a very good bedrock for you guys to do. Gatima, of course, you were on the sideline. Exactly. You were not at the conference. But having gone round the key parts of this country, you have an understanding of what the major needs of the people of this country, the needs are. But tell me, when you were watching those deliberations on the sideline, what came to your mind? Because some people are saying that this agreement that the delegates had at the floor of that particular, the confab there, is a show of how diverse really we are in thoughts, in talking about our ethnic divides and all of that.
Well, let me seize this opportunity to congratulate my colleagues here who were very active in the deliberations of the last conference. And frankly speaking, from what we thought at the beginning of the input of the discussion, and subsequently what the outcome turned out to be in terms of national consensus, in terms of talking about a united Nigeria, a lot of Nigerians, I can tell you, are shocked pleasantly and surprised that the conference could come out with that unanimity of position for one great country. I always maintain the fact that this country, as a united entity, will call the shots anywhere in the world. But for some strange reasons, prior to the conference, it's been this clamor for ethnicity and all that. And some of us that were students of some of these unity colleges and all that in secondary schools, where we grew up interacting with an average Igbo person as if we came from the next door, room, not even the family, and where we never knew from what part of the country you came, as long as you can demonstrate some kind of excellence. We thought that was the Nigeria of the 2015s and beyond. And that has demonstrated, the outcome of this conference has demonstrated our commitment, our confidence that we had people like Yinka there himself. And so, but having said that, I don't think the conference itself had attracted the kind of robust attention that one would have expected had there been other cases that had really moved the focus away. For instance, like the Chibok girls, the insecurity, the bomb blasts here and there. So to an extent, that also took the national viewership to a greater extent away from the conference. And again, one other thing that a lot of critics of the conference will tell you is that you will still have some with a rubber bullet somewhere still coming back to talk about the sovereign national conference subsequently. And so I want to believe that there are some interest groups that will still feel marginalized from this conference as it is, that will still come out later on, maybe in a short period of time or some future date, and say, look, what we actually were clamoring for was beyond what this conference was. We had the Pronaco, we had the Afenifere that he was talking about, and so I want to believe that some of these very, very peculiar interest groups may still come out with some kind of agitation. But by and large, the fact that Mr. President, His Excellency Jonathan Goodluck has allowed, different shades of opinion to come out to express, to be heard, to be part of the process, I think is a very positive thing. And it has allowed people to ventilate their opinion. And in a society, when that happens, even if you don't have a clear-cut solution, the fact that you've been recognized as a very key critical unit of the society, that you could express your opinion, was a very positive thing. And I think that's what the conference has succeeded in doing so.
Interesting. There was a very interesting time at the national conference where some members actually threatened to stage a walkout. Gatima, tell me, what was your view at that time to that particular reaction? It became so hot that some delegates actually planned to take a walk.
You see, people had already had a preconceived idea as to what Mr. President wanted to do vis-a-vis 2015 and all that. And they had the antecedent of what had happened to the 2005 National Reform Conference that was organized by Obasanjo. Everything went beautifully well. And then towards the end of the conference, you had the third-term agenda smuggled in. So the perception was that was something similar to this was about to happen. And how the conference delegates maturely were able to handle that issue, frankly speaking calls for a lot of congratulations for the delegates here present.
So I guess it's a form of consensus with you guys that what we had with the national conference is a brilliant idea, and the outcome came out something that is fair to all, isn't it?
Excellent.
Yinka, let me come to you. We have a few issues which came up. I want us to look at some of the major issues from the national conference, from the report, some of the opportunity that we've had to take a look at the report. Some of the issues that came up include the creation of new states, power rotation, more powers to federating units, the listing of local governments in the constitution, new presidential powers, and a possible referendum on this particular report. Those are some of the major issues that we shall be taking a look at, which actually form the major highlights of the report presented to President Goodluck Jonathan a few days ago. Now, Yinka, let me come to you. The issue of creation of new states. A lot of people, before this conference, were asking for us to go back to regionalism, as some people would call it, regional government, like we had it in the last in some years ago. But now we have new states, 18 new states. We are proposed new states, 9 for the north, 9 for the south. How did you guys come about that?
Well, thank you so much. For instance, for us in the Southwest, before we went to this conference, one critical item on our agenda was regionalism. And I think it was also a popular opinion in the Southeast. But when we got to the conference, when we spoke with our brothers from across the country, especially from the minorities of the North, it was clear that there is a mood for self-determination, which regionalism will hamper. That in fact, under the existing state structures, there are some of them who are second-class citizens in the states where they are at the moment. So with intense negotiation skills, we discovered that we have to give and to take. That for the interest of these minorities, we should not insist on what we want, but we should factor them into whatever we want to do. And that's the basis of the fact that, okay, if these are the terms of your quest for autonomy, to have more states, let's have it. But we also have a compromise for us, that these states now can come together and have zonal commissions to pursue justice, economic interest, development and all those kind of things. So we met ourselves halfway. Now, a lot of people have criticized, some people have criticized that, oh, we say the existing states are not viable, we are creating more. Yes, people want autonomy, they want self-determination. But the truth of the matter is that the only reason why the existing states are not viable now is because we are depending on these monoproducts, oil. When you see the geological map of Nigeria, there is no state in Nigeria, existing one, new ones, that don't have abundant deposit of mineral resources. That's true. That if you tap them, my goodness. In fact, a few days ago, a retired general from Southwest called me that please I should let him look at that list because it was a delegate at the conference. And I look at the list. That is there kaolin in Ekiti State? And I asked him why. He said his friend came from the US, asked some people to dig a well for him. They dug just in a few feet and they met this white substance and they ran away. They thought someone had buried something there. By the time they took to the lab, they discovered it was kaolin. I mean, just digging well. So it's because we are not going under the soil, beyond the oil. That's why I see some another evil. If we go on this new model, for goodness sake, we have resources to support these new states, and at the same time, we have satisfied the quest for autonomy by these minorities who over the years have been repressed. Most of the conflicts that you are finding in the country, especially in the northeast, north central, they are based on the question of...
So the creation of this new state will satisfy the so-called minorities in the country that are aggrieved.
Oh, yeah, of course, because there are a lot of them. For instance, there are some of them who told us that, look, we cannot support state police under the existing structure that we are still in our states. Instead, we have our own states where we know that we are in control of the police. They will use this thing, police against us. So those issues are there. So I think that most importantly, what Nigerians should understand is that we have created these states to allow peace, to allow justice, to allow development, to satisfy the quest for autonomy by the minorities. And don't forget that we're in the age of self-determination. Most of the conflicts you are finding around the world today now, they're about self-determination. They're about clash of civilizations. And we must be sensitive to that, otherwise we'll continue to be in the midst of perpetual feud.